Hi guys, it's Chuck Taylor, and today I'm going to show you how easy it is to work on brakes. This is my 2002 Chevy Cavalier, and I need to do the brakes today. So we're going to take this wheel off, and then we are going to jack the car up, use 2 screws to take the brakes off, put the new pads on. And I'll show you a little tip that I learned too off the internet, and we'll make sure we make this as easy as possible. Okay, so let me go get everything set up, get the car jacked up, and we'll start showing you how to change your brakes and do it yourself and save a lot of money. Okay, so we got our tools and we're ready to start. We got the jack, we've got our tire iron, the C-clamp, we've got Allen wrenches for the socket. Now we're going to use the 3/4 wrench when we get to it. And then of course some gloves, the brakes themselves, brake cleaner, and then over there you see a syringe and an oil bottle. That's for my trick, and I'm going to show you that a little bit later on. So let me get this tire off, let me get the car jacked up, and we'll get started. Alright, so I've raised the car up, I've taken the hubcap off, and now I'm ready to take the tire off. I've loosened the lugs before raising the car. Just a little bit higher here. Like that. There we go. So we've got our rotor and our caliper, and for today we're going to just take the brakes off the caliper. For that, we just need a ratchet and our 3/4 inch Allen socket. Now before I do this, I'm going to go and turn the wheel to make the caliper a little bit more accessible. Alright, so I've moved the camera a little bit. And I noticed that the caliper is going to need some pressing in, okay, to right here. So one of the things you've got to do when you do that is up on your here in your motor where your brake fluid is, always before you start pressing your caliper, release that. Take your cap off. And that's going to prevent a lot of your brake fluid from leaking out. And when we fully depress our caliper, the plug on the caliper, the piston, we'll be using the syringe and the oil bottle. So I'm using a 6-inch C-clamp. I'm going to put it right here and tighten. And as you tighten, it's going to push that piston back in. Which will loosen it off of the rotor. See it going in? Now as you do that, you see your brake fluid rising. So what we do, here's where the syringe comes in. We take our syringe, make sure it's clean. You don't want anything getting in there. And you just put it right there, pull the brake fluid out, put it in your oil can. You'll be able to fill that back up with more, and you're actually going to lose more brake fluid as you do this. So I usually start off with just a couple pulls. And we'll leave this here in case we need it. Let's move back to what we were doing. So you see our piston going in, right? And releasing. Okay, once we get it in about that far, it's okay to go ahead and take it off now, because it's released some of the pressure, right? All right, so we're done with our C-clamp for now. Next, we're going to take the bolts here and here out, okay, so that we can remove our caliper. And once we remove our caliper, we're going to need something to set it on. So what I like to do is I like to take the box from my jack so that I can lay the caliper on there while I change the brake pads. So now we've got our pistons released enough that we can just take off the caliper, just like so. Take our old brakes out. As you can see, they're kind of worn. They're not too bad, but they're kind of worn, especially as compared to our new brakes. Big difference, right? So, we also want to spray down our rotor too. So let's go ahead and slide the rotor off. Let's spray some brake cleaner on that. Of course, you want it to be dry. Obviously, need it. You fit the rotor back on. Just slides on like that. Pretty easy to change a rotor. I changed the rotor on the other side, was bad. And if you let your brakes go, your rotors will get really bad. You'll have to replace them. But right now we're doing okay with this rotor. So we're going to use our C-clamp to finish pushing our piston all the way back in. Okay, so right there. Kind of going again on this side. And as I do this, I kind of look over the top of the car to make sure that I'm not pushing out any more oil or any more fluid, and I'm not. So, all right, now my piston is fully depressed. Go ahead and release the C-clamp. It's not that hard to do. I have been paying mechanics for years to do this, until I realized how simple it was after reading on the net about it and talking to my dad, who's been a mechanic for years. This is what I want to share with our range listeners, because if you're even somewhat mechanically inclined, if you can release 2 screws, you can do this. It's real simple. So we got our seat clamp off. We're not going to need that anymore. Make sure our pads are ready. So this pad, like this, will fit right in here. Fits right in your piston. Okay? It's going to go against the back. And this is your front one. It has clips, and it also has a little piece that notifies you when your pads are too low. All right, so this slides right on here. Sometimes you may need to force it a little bit. All right, so the brakes are on there. Now all we have to do is put our caliper back on our rotor. We're back on. We're looking good. All that it requires now is tightening everything. Tighten it back up. Put your tire back on. And you are good as new. And the old brakes are done. Just a little bit more brake. Doesn't need it. This works better. All right, we have put our brake back on. There you go. Now we're about to put the tire back on and we are done. It is that simple. Hope it helped. Thanks for watching.